हरिहंत सिद्ध सूर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी राग ते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाय स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So yesterday we were doing this chapter on 6 cases, a very important chapter showing the independent nature of a substance, independent nature of its attributes, and the independent nature of its modification. So substance is independent of one another, modification is independent of one another, and attributes are also independent of one another. So yesterday we had begun the chapter, and in the introduction itself, since this words has been taken from Pravachan Sarji, so there was introduction on Pravachan Sarji Granth. Today we'll be starting the chapter of 6 cases where we left off yesterday. So we'll start from here. The student, what is the relationship of cases? What are cases? Please explain these at length. So the first question is, what is case? Okay. So in grammar, you must have studied that which creates an action, karya. Action is karya, is purposeful in the happening of the action. So the one which creates the action or which is purposeful in the happening of the action is called the case. Okay. So the one which is directly involved in the process is basically a case. Case can only be that which in some way, it is written here as shape, but actually it is in some way. You can correct in your textbook if you have, otherwise you can just note it down. Cases can only be that which in some way or the other can be purposeful in the operation of the action, none else. So case is something that is directly involved in the process of any action being performed. So there are 6 types of cases. First one is subjective or nominative. So we would call it as a nominative case. The second one is accusative or the objective case. So the first one, nominative, is karta. The second one is karma. First one, nominative, answers the questions who did it. Who did it? So the subjective or the nominative case states that this person has done it. So he is the karta. The one who does it, the one who is involved in the process is the karta. Then what is objective? What did you do? Okay. क्या किया आपने? किसने किया? कर्ता. क्या किया? कर्म. Okay. Accusative. The third one is karan. Karan means of that deed, or it is called instrumental case. Okay. तो किससे किया, है ना? With what means did you do it? So this answers the third one, the instrumental case. The fourth one is Sampradan in Hindi. In English, we call it as dative, D-A-T-I-V-E, dative case. किसके लिए? For whom? Okay, it answers the questions. It's answered the question for whom. The fifth one is Apadan, or the producer, and the exact word is ablative. In English, it is called ablative. What did he take from? उसने किसमें से किया? The fifth one answers that. The last one, adhikaran, base of the deed. It is called locative case. Okay. It answers उसने किस पर या किसमें से किया, किसमें किया. On what basis did he do it? So now you know the 6 questions, and in answer to that there are 6 cases. Okay, I will repeat the names. First one is nominative, the karta. The second one is accusative, the karma or the karya that has happened. Don't confuse this with 8 karmas, you know, Jnanavaran, Dashnavaran. This is not that karma. Here karma means action, karya. The third one is instrumental, that is karan or the means. Okay, here also you don't get it confused with instrumental cause. Instrumental cause is nimit. This is not what it's mentioned here. Here it is mentioned is by what means. Okay, so means of that action. The fourth one is sampradan, for whom you have made this thing. So the receiver of the action is called the sampradan or the dative. The fifth one is ablative. In Hindi it is called apadan. Usne kisme se kiya? What did he take from? And the last one is adhikaran, the base, you know, locative case. On what basis did he do it? So these are the 6 cases. Now we will see the definition of each case in the next paragraph. That which independently or unaidedly, unaidedly means independently, without any help of any other substance or any other factors. That which independently does means performs its own deed or own action, function, is called the doer, agent or karta. Okay, so the first one was nominative case. So nominative case states that the one which independently performs its action is called the karta or the doer or the nominative case. The second one is accusative or the objective or the action. Whatever modification is obtained, by the subject, the doer, is called its function, karma. So again, this karma means karya, action. Okay, so second one is about the object, that is the action. The third one is the means, the substantial cause or the important cause of that particular deed by which it is done or originated is called the means of that deed. So that means is called the karan. Okay, the tools by which that action has taken place. Okay, you have joined, so I'll make you co-host. Okay. So the third one was the current, okay, the means, and it is called instrumental case. The fourth one is dative case, sampradan, that for which that particular deed or action is performed or done is called the receiver, sampradan karak. Now, you may not be able to understand, but I will give you one, not one, but two simple examples. Let's start it from the beginning. So the first example is knowledge. The action is knowledge. And in the second example, the action is the furniture, okay, furniture made. Now, if we consider the first point, the nominative case, in case of knowledge, who is the doer? Soul, okay, soul is the doer. So this is from the real point of view, soul is the doer. And from the conventional point of view, the action performed is furniture. And who is the doer of that furniture? The carpenter, okay. So when we talk of conventional cases, then all the six will be different things, okay. But when we talk of real cases, okay, cases from the real point of view, all will be in one substance itself, okay. It will not go beyond one substance. So now we
So can I interrupt?
Yeah.
So soul is akarta, right?
But here we are establishing that soul is a substance and he is performing certain duties or certain functions, and that functions are these 6 cases, okay. So it is not every time that we say that soul is akarta, you know, there are always a perspective attached to it. So from that perspective we call it as akarta. But now we are establishing that the action that has taken place is in this substance, okay. So this substance itself is the karta, okay. So this rules out that there is no entity as God who is doing the whole thing in this universe, you know. This whole universe is independently functioning because each substance is a doer, each substance is a karta, each substance is a nominative case, okay. So that which independently does its own deed is called the doer. So in case of knowledge, soul is the doer, okay. Soul is the doer of knowledge. And in case of furniture, carpenter is the doer, okay. So the example of furniture is from the conventional point of view. The example of knowledge is from the real point of view. So we'll be doing simultaneously both, okay. So this is the first point. Now second point, whatever modification is obtained by the subject doer is called its function or action or karya or karma, okay. So this is the second one. So in case of knowledge, what is the action? The action itself is knowledge. And in case of furniture, what is the action? The furniture is action. The third point, what are the means? So in case of knowledge, the means is the ever-changing nature of the soul forms the means of evolution of knowledge, okay. So in case of knowledge, the knowledge itself is the means, okay, current. And in case of furniture, what will be what you call the third one, the instrumental case? What will be the instrumental case? The saws, hammer, screw, All right. All these are the third one, that is called instrumental case, or the tools through which the furniture has been made. Now coming to the fourth one, that for which that particular deed is performed or done is called the receiver, or the dative case, or the, in Hindi it is called sampradan karak. It answers kiske liye, for whom. So in case of knowledge, it is for the soul itself. Okay. And in case of furniture, it is for the customer who are going to use it. It is for the consumers who are going to use that furniture. The fifth one, the permanent substance out of which that particular function or deed or action is done or obtained is called the apadan. So in case of knowledge, the new modification of knowledge has evolved from eternal soul. And in the example of furniture, the wooden planks, okay. So this furniture has been made from the wooden planks. So wooden planks is apadan, or the ablative cause. Number 6, the locative case, the permanent cause and the same permanent substance is called the base of the deed, adhikaran. So in case of knowledge, whose support is there? The support of soul. Okay. And in case of the making of the furniture, the floor is the adhikaran, or the locative case. So now you can see that there are two types of cases. One is the real point of view case, and the other is from the conventional point of view case. So the furniture example was of the conventional point of case, where everything was different. Karta was furniture, the Karta was carpenter, the action was furniture, the means were screws and hammers and other tools. And the fourth one, it was made for the customers. So customers are again a different entity. And the fifth one was from what it is made, it is from the wooden plank. So that is again a different case. And the last one was on what basis? So on the floor, the furniture was made. So we see in the conventional cases, all the 6 are different 6 materials. But in case of real cases, or the cases from the real point of view, all is under one substance, as we have seen in that example of knowledge and soul. So everything was related to soul only and the knowledge only. So now you can make out which one is the real point of view case and which one is the conventional case. Okay. So I'll ask you, a potter makes a jar from the muds. Okay. Now, tell me the cases from the real point of view and also from the conventional point of view. So first we will talk about the conventional point of view. Okay. So what is the nominative case?
Jar, making of jar.
No.
Potter.
Potter, right. Potter, right. Who, karta, no? Who is the doer, right? The second is the action, what has happened. So what is the accusative case here?
Jar.
Jar, right, correct, jar. Now, what will be the means of the action of jar?
Mud.
Mud
And the instrument which is used.
Yes, instrument is the current and not the mud. You know, we are talking of now conventional point of view. Okay. First, we are talking about conventional point of view. Then we'll, in the same example, we will be applying the real point of view. Okay. So now we are doing a conventional point of view. The third one was the means. The means was the
Wheel, pottery wheel.
yeah, potter wheel and the other things that has been used. Now the fourth one, sampradan or dative case, for whom?
The
To
user.
customers, users,
Yeah, so potter, the one who are using the pot, they are the user. They are the sampradan or the dative case. The fifth one, apadan, ablative case.
The,
The
your
claim.
mud.
Potter,
Pardon?
Mud,
The claim.
the
earth.
the wheel,
potter,
No, potter is the doer. So that is finished.
the
Now,
mud,
apadan is the
mud,
earth. Okay.
Hmm.
Apadan is the basket
Place.
from where the mud was
Sir,
taken out.
Hmm.
Okay.
earth or the place where he has done that all.
That is the last one, adhikaran. So what is adhikaran here in this case? The last one, the locative case, the earth. Okay. The earth is the last one, the sixth one. So fifth one was,
Can you tell me what is?
fifth one was the basket from where the mud was taken out. Okay.
sir, can you please explain the difference between fifth and sixth again?
Okay. So fifth is, we can see the definition first. The permanent substance out of which that particular function or deed is done. Okay. So that permanent substance will remain as it is, but the work will be done from that substance. Or deed is done or obtained is called the apadan. Okay. So in case of furniture, okay, in case of furniture, we had seen that that furniture was made from wooden planks. Okay. So that is the material used to make that thing. Okay. And the sixth one is on what basis? So in case of furniture, it was done on the floor. So floor is the sixth one, the locative case. Okay. So now you know the difference between the fifth and the sixth one. It is clear, Priyanka ji?
Yes, sir. Sir, so in the potter case, then, sir, the fifth will be mud.
No, not mud. It will be the basket from where the mud was taken out.
Okay, sir.
So we are now talking about
Actually, what is
conventional.
mud
We
will
are-
be which of the 6 cases?
Mud.
Hmm.
Mud will come in the real cases. When we discuss real cases, everything will come into the mud. Okay. So here, just because it's a conventional case, so we are doing it as a different things. Okay. So the first one you saw was the potter. The second one was the jar. The third one was the tools, used, the chakra and all. The fourth one was for the consumers, the customers. The fifth one was the basket out of which that mud was taken out. And the sixth one is the floor on which the pot or the jar was made. Okay. So these are 6 different cases. Now we come to the real point of view cases. So all 6 will be done on that same example of the jar being made out of mud. Okay. So a potter makes a jar out of the mud. So now who is the doer of that jar? Karta kaun hai? Who is the karta?
Soul.
No.
No, now we are talking about real
Real.
point. Yeah.
The earth.
Nischay. Pardon?
Sir,
The
mud.
earth itself.
Mud only, sir. From the mud.
Ah,
Because
mud
mud has
only.
got the inherent quality
Ah.
to become as a pot.
Yes, mud. Okay. First one was mud. Second one was what will be the action? What has happened?
Making
Yeah, what is the action?
the jar.
The
Jar,
pot.
yes, jar. The jar of mud only, right?
So that is same in both real and convention.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The third one is, so it is in the real point of view also, it is the mud itself, because the jar is made up of mud. So the action is also, we can call it as jar also, or jar made of mud. Okay. So again, it is the third one, the means. What will be the means?
So mud only.
Mud only, right? And for whom it is made, a fourth one?
For the jar.
For the jar. So for the mud only, right? So fourth one is also mud. Fifth one,
Mud
out of
producer.
fifth one is the permanent substance out of which that particular function or deed is done. So what is that permanent substance? The mud.
Mud.
Okay. But there were so many quantity of muds. Only that part which we have taken to make the jar, that part itself is only the fifth one. Okay. The sixth one will be the permanent case, and the permanent substance is called the base of the deed. So in this case, it will be again the mud.
Mud.
Okay. So as you've seen that all the real cases has been performed in one particular substance. Okay. But whereas in conventional, all the things were different. All the things were different. So this is basically the difference between the two, real and the conventional. Okay. So technically speaking, when you look at it from the real point of view, it is the original truth. The pot has been made through that mud only. All other are just an instrumental cause, whether a potter or the instruments or the the consumer, all are different. Okay. But from the real point of view, it is mud itself that has manifested into such and such.
Sir, how to correlate with that with the soul and attainment of the liberation with
So
this?
we are coming to the next example. It is applicable on the, it is applied on the omniscience knowledge. Okay. So coming to the next page, you can see, as shown above, the substance itself is full of wealth. Okay. It's full of its wealth of eternal vitality, and such is capable of doing its own work. Now you realize that substance itself has the capacity or the ability to do its own work, transforming itself into the 6 cases. So no outside agency can offer any help to it. Okay. So now they are showing it in this example. Thus, the soul desires of obtaining the supreme sentience. What is this supreme sentience? Can anybody say?
That, sir, attaining that Kevala Jnana omnis.
Yes, Keval Gyan. So it is also called omniscience. Okay. So obtaining the supreme sentience, that is omniscience, does not need any support. Okay. Swayambhu. Swayambhu means apne aap. Okay. Swayambhu मतलब होना, स्वयं से होना, किसी का सपोर्ट नहीं चाहिए. तो केवल ज्ञान जो होता है सोल में, the soul manifests omniscience knowledge in itself. Through whom? to himself. Okay, so that is what we are going to see, the 6 cases in the knowledge or the omniscience, complete knowledge or omniscience. Thus, the souls of desiring of obtaining the supreme sentience or the omniscience, Keval Gyan, does not need any support. Its dependence on other is meaningless. So he is not dependent on anything and he does not require any supporter. So how this omniscience will manifest? It will manifest on its own. Okay. So the soul is going to be the doer of those things. And because that manifestation or the modification has happened in that soul itself. So now we'll be seeing it one by one. The soul, with its adherence to the pure state of its being, obtains omniscience in itself and by assuming 6 cases itself. Now, the first point. That soul is independent on account of its own eternal vitality and sentient nature, and as such is the doer, karta. So soul is the karta. Number 2 point, it achieves the omnipotent consciousness, which is its deed or the action, karma, or that is in itself inseparable from omniscience. So there is 2 logics for the karma. One is it achieves the omnipotent consciousness, which is its deed, and that is in itself inseparable from omniscience, and therefore it is the deed. Okay, deed is the action or the karya. So what is the action here? The omniscience knowledge is the action or the deed here. The third one, what will be the means? It achieves omniscience by the highest soul endeavor of its operative consciousness. So it is the means. So now that omniscience itself is the means. Number 4, for whom it gives omniscience to itself. It gives omniscience to itself. And so the soul itself is the receiver. So who is the receiver of that omniscience knowledge? The soul itself is the receiver. The 5th one, it discards its own incomplete sensory knowledge, okay, and produces omniscience. Okay, so is the producer, omniscience, by its natural conscious behavior, which is permanent, and as such it is the permanent cause or the apadan. So 5th one is apadan or the ablative case, ablative case. Now the 6th, it creates omniscience on its own foundation, okay, on the basis of its own foundation, and as such it itself is the base, adhikaran. Thus it itself assumes 6 cases and so is called born of itself. So you see it has shown it on omniscience. Now the next example on matter. Okay, so this has been taken from Panchastikai. Acharya Kunkundev has written this Panchastikai, and in that 62 verse number 62, Acharya Amrit Chandra has clarified it most strongly, and the first example is on matter and the second example is on the soul. Okay, so the first one is on the matter. Matter is the example given, and then it will show the principle on the soul. So the first one, the matter. Now, can anybody tell me about the matter? All the real point of view, not the conventional point of view, everything from the real point of view. Can anybody tell me all the 6 cases in terms of matter? So the whole thing is like that, matter substance being the doer of karmic matter. So matter substance is Pudgal Dravya and it is the doer of karmic matter. Karmic matter matlab Dravya karma. Okay, Dravya karma. So Dravya karma ka karta kaun? So say Pudgal Dravya. So matter substance being the doer of karmic matter independently, matter itself is the doer. Okay. So number one, matter. Number two, because karma matter attains that stage itself. What action has happened? The karma, manifestation of the karma. So it is the deed. The karma is the deed. Or being inseparable from karmic matter, matter itself is the deed. So now Pudgal Dravya is karta, Pudgal Dravya is karma. Okay. The third one, means. What is the means? Being possessed of the power of changing itself into karmic matter, matter substance itself is the means. So what is the means? The matter substance itself. For whom? Who is the receiver? Because it converts itself into karmic matter, the matter itself, the matter substance itself is the receiver. The fifth one, destroying the previous manifestation in itself and thus turning into karmic matter and also remaining permanent as matter, the matter substance itself is the permanent case. And the sixth one is being the producer of karmic matter on its own basis, the matter substance is the basic case. So you have seen from the real point of view, you have seen on matter. Okay. So now on the soul, in the same manner, the soul independently operating as sentience and perfection is itself the doer. So who is the doer? The soul itself is the doer. Because the soul attains that stage itself, okay, it is the deed, or being inseparable from the soul itself, it is the deed. So soul is the doer and soul itself is the deed. The third one, what is the means? Being possessed of the power of changing itself in animate form. Okay. Animate form means Chetan. Okay. The soul itself is the means. So soul is itself the means. The fourth one, because it converts itself into the animate form, the soul itself is the receiver. So now the soul is itself the receiver. The fifth one, destroying the previous manifestation in itself, okay, and thus turning into animate substance and also remaining permanent as soul, the soul substance itself is the permanent case. The fifth one. And now the sixth one, being the producer of the living soul substance on its own basis, the soul substance is the basis case. So in reality, the karma itself changes into the 6 cases and as such does not stand in need of the 6 cases of any other substance. Likewise, the soul manifests itself into the 6 cases and does not need the help of the 6 case of any other substance. Therefore, from the intrinsic point of view, soul is not the doer of the karmas and karmas are not the doer of the soul. So there were 2 examples. One was on the Pudgal Dravya, that is karma, about karma, and that is actual the karmic matter, karma, okay? The Jnana, Varana and all, Dravya karma. And the other example was on the soul, okay? So 2 things are happening differently with its own 6 cases. The soul is manifesting with its own 6 cases and the karmic matter is manifesting itself into karmas on its own. So both things happening simultaneously but independently. Nobody is a doer of the other. So next paragraph. From the real point of view, the matter substance itself manifests in the shape of the 8 karmas and the soul substance as the Audaik Bhavas. Okay. So soul substance manifests itself into the Audaik Bhavas, and this karma manifests itself into the 8 karmas. The case of both are quite separate from one another. The cases of both are quite separate from one another and do not require the help of the other. As such, the cases of one substance do not stand in need of the case of other substance. Now, what is the gain by all these analysis? Can anybody guess what could be the benefits of knowing this chapter of 6 cases?
Is it to do with basically saying that something external cannot affect you? So,
Yes. Very good, very good. So this is the one of the reasons. What else can you think of?
So we don't have to wait for anything
Arey wah,
external
very good.
to happen
Yes.
to obtain
So
it.
Nimit, no limit. Yeah, no dependency.
Independent.
Yeah, independent. That is the first point itself. Darshit ji told that was also about independent. Anything else?
Could you relate this to your own Purshat, as in like whatever is happening in front of you or to you is happening, but you're not enjoying with it? I don't know if that makes sense.
So you can say that because of ignorance, okay, the soul was suffering in the 4 state of existences, and that same soul, by putting efforts in the right direction, can end this cycle of transmigration. Okay, so that can be a point. And then we can say that by understanding this, the delusion vanishes. It gets reduced gradually and one day it vanishes. And there are 1 or 2 more points. Let's read it out. So Darshit ji, you only read this last part of the chapter. What do we gain by all this analysis?
Okay, Jai Jinendra. It is clear that wrong belief persists as long as faith retains a conception that one substance can operate the origination or destruction, modifications of any other substance.
So this was the first point. Okay, now the second point. When the faith
entertains a true belief that every substance is the agent, doer, of its own modifications, the soul, due to its own non-sentient state, deserves roaming in the worldly circle of existence, and the same soul, by dint of its effort, can end this state and becomes qualified for the supreme happiness of the liberated state.
This was the second point. And due to its own non-sentient state means due to its own ignorance. Okay, non-sentience means agyan. So again, this is not the correct word. It should be ignorant state. Okay, so because of ignorant state, he was roaming in the worldly circle of existence, and now with his right efforts he can end this transmigration and becomes qualified for the supreme happiness of the liberated state. The third point, it is at this point
It is at this point that the manifestation of right faith in the soul starts, and on this basis, as the soul develops independence of other entities and proceeds further on the path of conduct, it assumes the shape of soul absorption and complete merger into the sentient nature.
So this is the
It is
third point, okay? So the manifestation of right faith in the soul starts when you know the independence of the substance and the attributes and the modification, okay? The moment you take decision on this, and your path of liberation begins, okay?
it is only convention to say
Fourth
that
point. This is the fourth point, okay?
Yeah, so it is only convention to say that a substance is the agent responsible for changes in other substances by way of doer, deed, means, receiver, permanent cause, or basis. Intrinsically, every substance is the creator of its own modifications. It is itself the deed, itself the means, itself the receiver, itself the permanent cause, and itself its own basis. This is the supreme faith.
So you know now the conventional point of view and the real point of view, okay? So in the conventional point of view, that a substance is the agent responsible for changes in other substance. So there is something happening on the other substance and this is responsible. So these are all the talks from the conventional point of view. And from the real point of view, the next line it is given, it is the substance itself is the creator, and itself is the deed, itself is the means, itself is the receiver, itself is the permanent cause, and itself is own basis. Now the fifth point, since eternity,
this soul has forgotten the 6 real cases and has been placing its faith in conventional cases and thus roaming in the wide world. The real path of liberation starts when this soul really believes in the operation of the 6 real cases, takes recourse to its eternal sentient nature, and arouses in itself the manifestation of the pure soul. As such, a correct knowledge of 6 cases is necessary in the activity of the purification of the soul.
so this is the fifth point, that for purification of the soul, you should have the knowledge of 6 cases. It's quite necessary. Now the sixth point.
It has here been said that from the real aspect, the soul does not have any case relationship with other substances. Creatures on the path of emancipation, therefore in vain, invite dependence on others and are unhappy on account of the consequent restlessness in finding external means to achieve this aim.
So again, because of its ignorance, the mundane soul invite dependence on others and are unhappy on account of the consequent restlessness in finding external means. But as we have seen that external means cannot do anything in a particular other substance, okay? So this because of ignorance and the wrong faith, the soul was dependent on external substances, but now he knows this, that there cannot be any help from external substances. For my own work, I am only responsible, and I have the capacity, inborn capacity to do function my own functions, okay, my own work. So this is all the what do we gain by all this analysis? So there are 6 points. You can just note it down. In the last part, we are coming why it is only 6 cases and not the 8 cases, that we can see this question, last question now. Darshiji, you
Okay.
take this further, the screen. Aditi ji, take it upside. Yeah, read Darshit ji.
Okay. Student, we have been very much We have been very much benefited by the information about real and conventional 6 cases, but you have not explained why you have discussed 6 cases only when there are 8 in number. Why did you not include vocative and connective cases in the list of cases as such? Speaker: there is no question of vocative being a case, but connective is also not a case. Both these have no relationship with the verb. That which is purposeful in some way or the other in the operation of the verb is alone called a case. Vocative and connective are not purposeful in the operation of the verb, and so they have not been included in the cases. By understanding this scheme of the 6 cases, tearing your vision from other non-self substances, if you merge yourself in your own being, the soul, you will certainly attain supreme bliss.
So the last part, there is no question of vocating being a case. So any process happening, any action being performed, it does not require that action, particular action does not require any vocative or any sermons, any preachings, any sambodhan. Okay. Now, if you put sugar in a milk, do you need to say Nokar mantra to get it sweet, or it happens automatically? So that sambodhan is not part of the process, so it is not a case. Okay. Similarly, the connective is also not a case. Sambandh, there is no relationship. Okay. There is no relationship with the verb or the process. Okay.
Sir,
So
what is locative and connective, sir?
Locative is the last one, okay, on the basis of which the action has been performed, okay.
Okay.
And which one you were telling now?
The two types that has not been included in the 6 cases. Sir.
So these two are not that part of the 6 cases.
That meaning alone I want.
So vocative is sambodhan and connective is sambandh, okay. Both these have no relationship with the verb. Verb means the process, you know. So that which is purposeful in some way or the other in the operation of the verb, in the process of the verb or the activity, is alone called a case. So these are not directly involved in the process, so they are not case. Vocative and connective are not purposeful in the operation of the verb, and so they have not been included in the cases. Now, one last question. We still have 7 minutes to go. My question is that these 6 cases are applied to what? Substance, attributes, or modification? Where these 6 cases will apply? It is in the substance or in the attributes or in the modification? You tell me.
To all 3.
Pardon?
To all the 3?
All the 3. Anyone else?
All the 3 are same, right?
No, 3 are different. No, substance is different, attributes is different, and modification is different.
But soul and modification are we don't segregate, correct?
No,
When
we do segregate because it has got its independent nature. No,
Okay.
the soul is not the modification, and modification is not the soul. Modification is only of one moment, you know, and the soul is permanent, eternal, right?
Okay.
So substance is eternal, but the modification keeps on changing every moment. So they are not same, but they are not different also, in the sense that just as a body and a soul are 2 different entities, similarly, the substance, the attributes, and the modification are not that different. Okay. So these 6 cases applies to what? Substance, attributes, or modification? Any other answers? Anyone wants to try? If you try, you will understand it better. That's all. So few have tried. Anyone else wants to try, or I will give the answer? So now I will again go back to Darshit ji. Your answer is correct, but now you explain how it is applying to all the three substances.
So the way I look at it is that
Hmm.
without the substance,
Hmm.
there cannot be, okay, sorry, a substance has to have an attribute, and then the attribute has to have the modification.
Hmm.
So all three are interconnected
Hmm.
in the sense that if you didn't have the substance, then the substance cannot actually be modified if it didn't exist in the first place.
Hmm.
And if you have a substance, then it has to have a attribute. આપણે ગુણ કહે ને, ગુણ હોવો જોઈએ એનો.
Hmm.
So that's how, I can't explain it in detail, but that's how I explain it.
Okay. So good try, and you are almost correct. So it is applying on all the three. So how it is applying to substance? Because those attributes, the substance is the owner of those attributes, or the substance consists of infinite attributes. Out of these infinite attributes, there are 6 attributes by this name only: karta, karam, karan, sampradan, apadan, adhikaran. So in the 47 Shaktis mentioned in Samaisar appendix, okay, so these 47 names are given. So 41 to 46 is this 6 name. 41 is Karta, 42 is Karma, 43 is Karan, 44 is Sampradan, 45 is Apadan, and 46 is Adhikaran. So since that substance is the owner of all these attributes, so the 6 cases happens in the substance also. Now how it happens in the attribute? Because attributes, the 6 cases are itself 6 attributes, okay? So it also applies in attributes. And how it applies on modification? So each modification, which is of one moment only, one duration, one samay, okay? So each modification has inbuilt this 6 cases, okay? Shat karak inbuilt hai, pratyek paryay mein. Every modification has inbuilt 6 cases in itself. And because of that, the action in the modification is happening because of these 6 cases, okay? So the modification does not take any help from the substance or the attributes, or it does not take any help from the instrumental cause, okay? So the modification itself has inbuilt the 6 cases, and because of these 6 cases, every moment it transforms, it changes every moment, and that is a continuous function that is happening in the modification, and that is happening because of these 6 cases which are inbuilt in it. So in this way, the 6 cases applies to substance, modification, and the attributes, all 3, okay? Now in this chapter, you would have seen that some cases has been referred through substance, and some cases has been referred through attributes, and some cases has been referred through modifications, okay? It's a mixture. Why it is a mixture? Because this has been taken from Pravachansar, and in Pravachansar, okay, the discriminative knowledge between the 2 substances is of prime importance, okay? So because of that, the whole substance, attributes, and modification is one entity only. These 3 are not 3 different entities, okay? It is only one entity. Under that one entity, the substance is different, the attributes are different, and the modifications are different. So all these 6 cases is applying to that substance only. So that's why this 6 cases applies to substance also, modification also, and attributes also. Okay, so you have to see in this case. Now coming to that question of Jinali ji, that soul is akarta. Okay, so when we say the soul is akarta of even its own modification also. Okay, so that is the tone of Samaisara. Okay, in Samaisara everywhere it is proved that soul is the not the doer of its modification also. Soul is not the doer of its attributes also. Okay, so in Samaisara this kind of language has been used. So there the Acharya wanted to practice descriptive knowledge between the nature, inherent nature, and the vibhav.
Wow.
Vibhav means the toxic emotions, okay? The passions that has been rising. So, so for that reason, the passions has been accounted for Pudgal Dravya. Passions belongs to Pudgal Dravya, and the soul is different from the passions. So that is the tone, and there it is called the soul as akarta. Okay. So from different perspective, all is true, but you have to understand the perspective. So this is the chapter taken from Pravachansar and Panchastikai, and this shows independence among two substances primarily. Okay, so whatever is happening in this substance, that substance is the doer of all the things. Okay, whether it is a pure modification or impure modification, that substance is the doer of those things. Okay, so here independent nature of two different substances is shown. Okay, difference between the two independent substance is shown here in this particular in this particular book called Pravachan, and this verse has been taken from there itself. So the here all it is a mixture. The substance, the attributes and modification all put together are the 6 cases from the real point of view. And from conventional point of view, everything is different. Okay, the carpenter is different, the furniture is different, the tools is different, the wooden plank is different, and the flooring is also different. So all the characters are different from the conventional point of view. But real point of view, it is all in the one substance itself. Okay, I hope you must have understand. Our time is also over. So next week we will be doing this 14 Gunasthan, the 14 stages of spiritual development. Okay, so it's quite a big chapter, but we'll be reading it through the whole chapter, and then we will move on to Tirthankar Bhagwan Mahavir. So I think in the next 2 days, the next week 2 days, we will be finishing this chapter. So those who find time can read and come, and you have a homework which is 19th is the last date, and I want everyone of you to complete that. It will not take more than half an hour to answer those 3 questions, and you can just open your book and answer it. Okay, there is no need to by heart or something like that. You can just mark it in your book and you can just study from there and answer. Okay, so I want all of you to complete your assignment of Viva by 19th of this month. So today it is 16th, I suppose. Yeah, no, 15th. So still 5 days you have, 4 days you have. So in the interim, you should complete this. Okay, so in the next class, I'll be checking all the together, and all the answers come together, and I will also tell good points, what will be the good answers also. Okay, so everyone should finish, and those who does not finish by 19, I'm not just going to check the answers. Okay, so everyone should complete it before 19th. If you have any problem, if you are not able to understand the question, you can ask me personally. I will explain you once, twice, thrice, how many times you want, I will explain, but you have to complete before 19th. Okay. So with this note, we end today's class. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है। 9 बार नौकर जय जय।